Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do some more little acts of decluttering to get you started on your decluttering and minimalism journey. My name is Rachel, and as you may know, I do videos all about minimalism, decluttering and my no spend year. And I've tried to share lots of different ways to get started in minimalism or decluttering, and I found that doing little acts of decluttering would add up to make a bigger change. So here I've got some more ideas to share with you on how you can declutter your home just a little bit at a time. If you want to follow for more little acts of decluttering, I do share them on little bite-sized videos on my TikTok and Instagram, so do go and check that out if that's an easier way for you to kind of keep track of these things. I tend to do a daily little act decluttering post, so that keeps you kind of in the loop and you don't have to refer back to it. It's just there as a regular reminder to keep decluttering. So the first one is expired medicine. This one is quite a straightforward one and should be done on a regular basis, but go through your medicine cabinet and make sure that you haven't got any expired medicine. If you do and you don't know how to dispose of it, it's worth going to your pharmacy with it and they should be able to dispose of it safely. You don't want it to be kept anywhere near reach of children, so make sure that you do look after that disposed item. So try and get it out of your home as soon as possible. And also, if there are any medicines that you're not likely to use that you have purchased, you can also return those to the pharmacy and they will be able to dispose of them safely, because you don't want to be keeping medicine that is quite strong medication if it's something that you're not likely to be using. I know that systems are quite different outside of the UK, but this is a UK thing that you can do, which is return it to your pharmacy. You don't get any monetary value back, even though you've paid for it. It's just a safer way of disposing of it. Next up is bags and purses. So have you got a collection? Is there a way that you can reduce this down? Have you got any purses or bags that are damaged, or the straps not work very well? Are they interchangeable with different straps? Could you declutter the straps that are damaged or broken and use alternative straps from other bags? Find ways that you can reduce what you have so that you don't have such a bigger selection. I tend to only have one big purse, that is my everyday school bag. I have one shoulder bag and I have a small bag for going out. So I have 3 bags in total, and I'm not including backpacks here, that's kind of a separate category. And purse wise, I have 2. I have one that I'm using and one that has foreign coins in. So I only have 2 purses, and I only buy a new purse if the other one's broken. So I've literally just bought one when I was on holiday because they're quite cheap out there. So I bought a new purse only because my purse that I was using that had the foreign coins in ended up melting in the heat, so I kind of had to replace it. So I still only have 2 purses despite buying a new one, because one of them damaged so severely I couldn't use it. Next up is framed pictures. So do you have lots of pictures around? Is there a way that you could declutter a wall so that it feels a little bit more appealing to the eye by reducing the amount of framed pictures that you have, or could you organise them in a different way? Do you have pictures along all of your walls, or could you designate one wall to have like a feature framed picture wall? Think about how you can reduce it so that it's more aesthetically pleasing to your eye. Number 4 is paint. Do you have any old paint lying around? Paint can be quite toxic and it's very flammable, so it's not a good idea to be keeping paint, especially when it gets older. Unless you're planning on using it anytime soon, I highly recommend that you dispose of it safely at your local recycling centre. Number 5 is pyjamas. I know that some people have quite a collection. I tend to have 2 pairs of pyjamas, and I'm quite happy to use any of the t-shirts that I have as kind of pyjama tops if I want something that's slightly lighter or different. So I tend to have one pair that's quite fluffy, and that tends to be my winter pyjamas, and then I have another pair of kind of thinner pyjama trousers. They're kind of full length, but they can ride up quite easily. They're kind of my middling, and I tend to use any everyday shorts for pyjamas in the summertime, but then I tend to stick to kind of the pyjamas I've got usually. It's very rare that I don't wear pyjamas, I just like the feel of having the pyjamas on. So could you reduce the amount of pyjamas that you have? One for summer, one for winter perhaps. Number 6 is tops. So this kind of follows in. You may have a large collection of t-shirts. Is there a way that you can reduce this down? Maybe get out all of your different tops and put them in different categories: long sleeve, short sleeve, going out, casual, smart. Get them in the categories and the different styles, and then see if you can reduce the number in each one. Have you got a very large collection of cotton t-shirts? Could you reduce that down so that you have a smaller number that is more manageable? Number 7 is backpacks and school bags. So obviously the school bags may not apply to everybody. If you've got a child, it's making sure that if you have bought a new one, that you get rid of the old one. Making sure that there's a kind of one in, one out policy with that, and only tend to buy them when they need them. So I won't buy a new backpack until the one that he's got is really worn or no longer functioning or damaged. So that's when I buy a new one. I don't tend to buy them every single year. I don't see the point when it's perfectly functional. Backpacks should last longer than a year and they should be looked after. So that's kind of our policy. And backpack wise, I have one small backpack that I use for going on walks, and that's just big enough to be able to put my water bottle in and some food, maybe like a thin jacket if I need it. So that's the 2 kind of backpacks that me and my son have. We have one each. Number 8 is jumpers and sweatshirts. So this one is going to be quite important because you're going to find that you're going to want to use a lot more jumpers in the winter to be able to keep warm rather than putting on the heating on. So make sure you have got good jumpers that you can use to keep warm, but make sure that you don't have too many. Kind of think about how many you've got and see if you can reduce the amount that you have. Next up, number 9, as we're going into winter, it's probably a good time to assess your hat and scarf situation. Now's a good time to get them all out, see how many different styles and ones that you've got. Have you got any that are probably more interchangeable with different outfits? Keep those ones, and maybe ones that are a bit bolder, slightly different. Maybe those are ones that you might want to donate or sell. And it's also a good time before we start needing them to get them washed and ready for use. Number 10 is cushions and throws. I think it's quite easy for people to get carried away with cushions and throws in their front room, but I tend to buy ones that are just what I need for inside the living room, and I also use them outside in my outdoor seating area. So I have a versatile use for them. And for throws, I have like these blankets that I have. They're quite small, thin ones, but I use those like daily in my home in the living room, but I will also bring them upstairs and put them on the bed for use on the bed at the end of the day as well during winter. I don't have to have lots of them to be able to do that. I just need to have one for myself and one for my son, and we kind of just make sure that we keep them washed on a regular basis. So reduce the amount of throws and cushions that you have so that you don't have as much cluttered items around you. Make sure that you're comfortable but don't have too many. Okay, number 11 is garden tools. So you've just been using stuff all over the summertime. It's now a good time to assess which tools that you don't really use. Could you donate them to somebody else, or could you sell them on? Do you have any electrical items in the garden shed that you don't use? Could you donate them or sell them as well? Next up is plant pots. Have you got any that are lying around in your garden or in your shed that you're not using? Try and donate those to other people. There'll be lots of people wanting to get started ready for next year or start seeding, so it's a good opportunity to clear out any excess items that you have. Next up is trousers. It's a good opportunity, as we're going to be starting to wear more trousers over the winter period. Start thinking about how many you've got of each category. Are there areas that you can reduce the number that you have? Have you got far too many workwear? Are there any trousers that do not fit you properly, that are damaged, that could be recycled at the local recycle centre? Next up is children's clothes. It's a good opportunity at the end of each season to go through their wardrobe and see what isn't fitting. So I try and do this on a regular basis. I tend to do it at the end of summer and then at the beginning of the new year, because that's just what kind of works for me. It's a good opportunity then to hit the sales when they do come, knowing what size to buy next. So take the opportunity to go through your children's clothes and declutter anything that doesn't fit them anymore. Next up is hangers. Do you have any that are broken, don't like to use? that don't feel nice, could you donate them to somebody else? And have you got any that are broken that you could recycle? So that was 15 different little acts of decluttering that could get you started on your decluttering journey. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. I'd love to know which ones that you have tried in the comments below, and I shall see you soon for more little acts of decluttering very soon. Take care. Bye.